Welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content and apparently fight big corporations to stop trying to get my videos taken down by abusing the fair use copyright system. In one of my most recent videos, I had to post and then 3 days later deal with blocking and then trying to edit and then trying to repost my Phantom of the Opera video. It is, as of right now, not to jinx anybody, it is right now online. Go watch it, in case it gets taken down again soon. I thought I would poke the bear. No, I'm just kidding. I had planned to do Phantom of the Opera and the lesser known, but definitely crazier sequel, Love Never Dies. And I am following through on that. We are going to do Love Never Dies today, god damn it. So hi, this is a fair use video. Just like all of the content on my channel, it is for commentary, transformative purposes. I'm giving critique, I'm giving commentary, and I'm only using the clips that I need to put my commentary in context. I think I just hit the microphone. But real quick, before any of that, I just want to draw your attention to the lovely crochet dolls that I have here. People ask me all the time where they come from. This one specifically because he is one of a kind, quite literally. This is Dragon Bean. If you watched my video or remember the Jim Henson movie from your childhood, The Tale of the Bunny Picnic, you will remember this little guy. This was made for me custom by Noah Hutchins, whose handles and everything are being put on the screen right now. He also made these amazing Sanderson sisters back here. I'm putting in some close-up shots right now. Also, most recently, he made and sent me the Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo, which is absolutely amazing. All of his dolls are hand crocheted. This one, there was no pattern. Like, he made this by referencing a bunch of different patterns and just making his own creation, and I love it dearly. This is my son now. But Noah has finally opened up an Etsy shop, so I really wanted to just plug that, because everybody is always asking where these amazing dolls come from, and I wanted you guys to know, and I wanted to support him because he is a wonderful person. He is a longtime member of this community, and he's just really talented. Again, look at this. This is my son. He also sent me some pictures of some dolls that I believe are currently being sold on the site. Just a little bit of a plug for that. I just wanted to let you guys know and support him. Dragon Bean is also going to sit right here with me and be my emotional support during this video because I am not prepared. Okay, if you did not see my previous video, go back and watch it. It is very recent on my channel. But basically, you don't need to watch that video to understand the context of this, as long as you know this is the sequel to The Phantom of the Opera. This is not a bootleg sequel without the blessing of Andrew Lloyd Webber. He very much even had a hand in making this. I believe somebody else wrote the script for him, but he gave some direction. I could be wrong about that. I don't know nearly as much about this show as I do the original Phantom of the Opera, which I grew up watching like a lot of us. This one is much more recent. It came out in 2012, I believe, and we are going to watch that recording back because I have it pulled up right here. This takes place 10 years after the events of the original show. You remember how we had that flash forward in the beginning of the original show and it felt like a wrapped up story that didn't need a sequel? Apparently, it did. So we pick up with the Phantom, still very much pining after Christine. He never really got over that. Where do we think he got this giant painting of her? Did he steal it from the opera house? Like, I have questions. Did he paint it himself? Because he can apparently do everything because he's the Phantom. The music already right off the bat feels much more show-tuney. There are some very good parts of music in this show. I'm not saying that. But it is a very different flavor than the original. Headphones are dying. You know what? Fine. Even the headphones don't want to deal with this. No, don't pause it. I already have 2 hours of show that I need to get through. Okay, so last time we were in Paris in the late Victorian era. Now it is the turn of the century, the Edwardian era. and we are stateside. Coney Island, baby. We're going to the circus. If you're somebody who can't really deal with clowns, circus themes, that kind of thing, like my mother's one of those people. She loves this show, but oh, what a cruel twist of fate. There are too many clowns in this version. I wish that was the only issue with this version, but that's something else you're gonna have to deal with, just a heads up. Oh shit, was that supposed to be a real monkey? Jesus Christ, after everything I went through with the wind-up mechanical monkey on the music box of the first one, they just said, heh, fuck you. Alright, you remember Meg Jerry, the ballerina bestie from the first play? She's very important in this one. Something that no one saw coming. Like, nothing against Meg, but just like, Meg kind of just exists for exposition reasons in the original. You know, she's got her own time to shine. That's good, right? Again, I've covered a few musicals, but I'm by no means educated in this medium, so I'm sure other people can tell you more about, like, the choreography, the music, all the technical things that are wrong, but I'm just gonna tell you as a viewer how I felt about it. When it comes to me in musicals, this is like when Ellen DeGeneres was on American Idol as a judge that one season. She didn't know what she was talking about, but she still had opinions. That's me. Except I promise I'm nicer than Ellen allegedly is. Okay, anyway, back to the show. Meg and Madame Giry, her mother, have come out to Coney Island. They have crossed an ocean with the Phantom. The Phantom has crossed the ocean to Coney Island and taken these two women into his employ. Who concealed him safe away? And they're like still mad at Christine for breaking the Phantom's heart. Like he didn't literally kidnap her twice. We must pray she keeps away, and from him and his dreams and his scars. This is giving the energy of Beauty and the Beast, where they're like, where Belle refuses Gaston. The three little blonde groupies that are really into Gaston are like, what's wrong with her? She's crazy. He's gorgeous. When Gaston is like an actual criminal. That's this. It's the Phantom. Okay, so apparently Christine Daae has become an even bigger star in the past 10 years. Not surprising, she's very talented. Turn of the century paparazzi are here to greet her and her family when they get off the ship at Coney Island.
Her name is Madame de Chauny. Stand aside.
Her family consisting of Raoul, who is a mega asshole now. Yeah, apparently the people who wrote this show were even less generous to Raoul than I was.
My wife is an artist. Oh yeah, and her art is paying off your gambling debts, is what they're saying in France.
Because he's literally like an abusive drunk husband. Christine also has a 10-year-old son. That's carriage. This very suspicious carriage pulls up, pick up this family, and they all just get in the car like this is normal. Just gonna go to a secondary location with strangers. Oh, look at that little throwback to Angel of Music. This poor little kid is a gifted pianist with a neglectful father who's run up a bunch of gambling debts on the family. This is a very strange turn.
Never you mind the debts we owe.
Like, I know Raoul wasn't a great person, right? But this writing is really heavy-handed. This feels like in season 8 of Game of Thrones, where Daenerys stopped being this kind of morally gray character thing, and they just made her the most comically evil bad guy that just did over-the-top crazy things with not enough motivation. Love's a curious thing. Christine is singing to her son while he's playing with this even more horrifying music box. This one has a clown on it. Am I the only one that thinks this little kid looks like kid Daniel Radcliffe? Like in his David Copperfield days, like before Harry Potter? Oh, and it's playing Angel of Music. That's not terrifying. Oh my god. Look at this extra bitch. Look at that entrance. She passed out again! It's not a healthy relationship when you pass out every time you look at the other person. She's mad at him for faking his own death, which I guess is something he did. I guess we're supposed to think he, like, died in a fire at the old opera house. But, like, he obviously didn't.
To make your death our story's end.
She gives us a huge exposition dump in her anger.
How dare you come and claim me now? I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
And then they sing a very extended song about how they had sex a bunch of times. I'm not joking.
Once there was a night
I touch you.
and I felt you.
As far as retcons that don't make any sense go, this one's pretty much up there because I think the actual, like, canon storyline is that after the events of the end of the first show, right? So after the events of the first Phantom, she apparently came back and, like, they did it, like, a bunch of times, like, in the woods. I think that's what I'm supposed to canonically believe. And there's a lot of very sketchy implications around this entire relationship. But this doesn't even make sense. I have so many questions. My brain is so scattered by this retcon, I don't even know what to do. Is that set rotating? That's actually kind of cool. I will say, if I can say one thing, I don't hate the sets in this show. Maybe there's, like, again, maybe somebody who's more knowledgeable knows why or, like, how the sets could be done better. But I kind of think, like, this kind of looks boring. All the lights are off and stuff. But a second ago, when all the, like, the smoke was going and all the lights were on, it didn't look bad.
10 long years of yearning.
I cannot believe they're still singing about how they had sex.
That peerless instrument plays for me.
I've read Tumblr fan fictions that made more sense and were less cringe than this.
I know what Hammerstein is paying you. I will double the amount for just one night's work.
So he wants to hire her to sing one performance in his show because, of course, he is a businessman who runs a circus. Even though his whole backstory was that he was a living oddity in the circus and he has a bunch of trauma, you'd think he wouldn't want to go back to the circus. I don't know, we all process differently. He's thinking, I'll imprison other people and then I will get over the fact that I was imprisoned? Great move. Wonderful move. Not at all crazy.
Welcome to my world, young friend.
He also threatens her son, so I'm really warming up to him. I felt so much more emotion for him in the last show. Like, he was always a criminal, and he never, ever, ever should be with Christine, because he is threatening the life of a literal child now. What character development from the last show?
I myself will show you. I promise.
I'm far from the first person to point this out, but, like, you remember how he learned his lesson and let Christine go at the end of the show last time? Apparently, all that was bullshit.
Why does he wear a mask, Mother? Is he a magician? Yes, darling. In his way.
It's like, why does he wear that mask? You're like, go the fuck to sleep, kid. It doesn't matter.
For your progeny, that perfect specimen.
Very creepy. Everything about that sentence, I hated it. I hated all of that.
May disappear on Coney Island.
So he threatens her. He says if she doesn't sing for him, he'll kill her kid. Charming. He gives her a brand new play. I have a very petty history complaint. That could be wrong, because I'm not a historian.
Christine?
Things have changed, Raoul.
Hey, that's what she said in the last show. Anyway, in the last show, she spent a majority of the time wearing the iconic white dress, partially because for a substantial part of that last part, it was a wedding dress. They're clearly trying to invoke that in this outfit, but, like, historically, since white was seen as, like, a color of purity and was associated with virginity, sure, that's all bullshit, but, like, historically, would a married woman with a 10-year-old be wearing white so publicly? I don't know. A genuine question. I don't know.
Oh my god, I can't believe it's you. Look at you, Christine.
They run into the Jiries, and they're like, hell shit, I remember you. Remember when we all almost died together? Good times.
Him? That's what I said.
You work for him.
Now you do too.
They're like, surprise, bitches, we're working for the Phantom now. Raoul's pissed.
We thought him dead. She'll be appalled.
Unless she knew.
show really hinges on fan service, right? And I mean, it's a sequel, right? So I guess that's fair in some regard, but like, so much emotional stakes in the first show, just gone. Not here.
What's wrong? My son. He was with Gustav.
Oh god, the kid went missing. Where's the kid?
Come and follow faster.
Alright, so the kid has been kidnapped.
Does the young Vicomte play?
Oh god, it's this scene. This is my first time sitting down and watching the whole thing from start to finish. And yes, I am watching it on 2.4x speed because I don't have 2 hours worth of patience right now.
Go on.
So the Phantom is very intrigued by the fact that this kid is just a 10-year-old prodigy, just composing... Progeny. And then he has a realization.
He plays like me. 10 years old.
Yep, that's the Phantom's kid. It is not Raoul's kid. Because you remember how they very clunkily told us how they had sex a bunch of times that one time?
I want to know what you think.
That guitar! No one taught this kid Stranger Danger. So now that the Phantom knows he has a kid, he wastes no time trying to scar this child.
It's all so beautiful.
Can it be?
There's no way this kid, even in 1905, would have this reaction, right? I know they saw some pretty fucked up things back then, but like, you're telling me this kid is just seeing like these people in glass cages and has no questions?
You've no fear of the beauty of ladies.
This is a weird kidnapping song. I don't like it. Like, I like the guitars and stuff, but I wish it wasn't used on the kidnap song. Oh, he takes off his mask, scares the kid. The kid recoils. No one has been able to explain to me, does the Phantom also wear like a hairpiece? Because we don't talk about that enough if that's true. Why is it that every time he takes off his mask, his hair turns white? I'm sorry for kidnapping our kid.
Forgive me.
His compassion from the end of the first show is back now, but he's like, please don't ever tell our kid that he's my kid.
He will never, ever know.
And she's like, yeah, I wasn't going to. You know how I, like, left with no intention of coming back or ever talking to you again? But even though he has this compassion now, she's still gonna sing, even though she didn't want to, and she was only doing it because she thought he would hurt her kid, but he's obviously not going to now.
One last time, just as I saw.
Maybe she's just hedging her bets. She's just like, play it safe with the crazy man. All in all, he's taking surprise you have a 10-year-old pretty well in the grand scheme of ways that well, no, he did kidnap a kid. The bar can't possibly be that low. He still kidnapped a kid.
If it's true, he's my reason to live.
But he's just like, yay, I have a kid. I'm gonna give all my money to my kid. And then Madame Giry comes out of the shadows and she's like, damn, what have I been working for 10 years for?
10 long years and he casts us aside.
So now Madame Giry is the actual bad guy, even though she was kind of like a fake out bad guy the first time because she seemed foreboding, but she actually had a heart. They're just like, nah, she's actually just the bad guy now.
10 dark years of toil and tears.
But we didn't see any of that. Have we even seen them on stage? We haven't seen them together on stage yet. Why are you telling me about her motivation instead of showing me? This is too loud, I'm sorry.
All the dreams and the plans that we laid.
Why did I have to have the 10-minute sex song? I could have been seeing, like, a flashback scene that was actually plot relevant or something. Like, I know it was plot relevant. It's 10 minutes, though. Raoul's drinking in a bar.
Why does she love me?
I think she likes you, dude. Like, this is supposed to be giving us some sympathy for Raoul, but it just doesn't work because now I'm just bored.
Beneath this mask I wear.
Oh, he wears a social mask. You know how, like, the Phantom wears an actual mask? But I guess he'd have to make that parallel make true sense, he'd have to only wear half a social mask. And I don't even know how you would do that.
I'm celebrating a reunion with old friends. Friends I had long thought dead and buried.
You thought they were dead? Why did you think they were dead? Huh, When that building we worked at together burned down, I just assumed you died. I didn't call up and check on you or anything.
Just take her away. Now. For all our sakes.
Meg's like also drinking because she's depressed. Because I guess she's got a bunch of trauma from that time 10 years ago in her life, but like not for the reason she should have. Not because there was like a rampaging murderer at her place of employment, but like because she's been rejected by the Phantom this whole time.
He's just another circus freak. I'm not afraid of him.
Well, I'm not afraid of him. Phantom steps out from behind the shadows. You want to say that to my fucking face?
Stay back or I'll kill you.
He certainly seems afraid of him. I was gonna make a joke about how Raoul's just like a little bitch boy, but honestly, I can't character assassinate him any way further than what the writers of this play have done. So you know what? I've said my piece about Raoul.
We've a son, our bond secure. Are you sure?
Raoul's like, but we have a kid together, and Phantom's like, about that, and Raoul's like, no.
Is he more you or me? You lie!
Should have known when he had talent he wasn't my kid. Okay, sorry, that was the last one. Meg's like the important headliner of this show, and she's kind of living her best-ish life right now as far as just like having adoring fans and stuff. Ooh, quick change. Can I just draw your attention to the fact that that banner up there says Mr. Wise, and it looks like it says Mysteries, but it's spelled wrong, and that's just really stupid, in my opinion. Mr. Wise Phantasma. I think the reason it bothers me so much is because you know that somebody was really proud of it, but it just looks like they don't know how to spell mystery. Although I will appreciate Meg for being canonically just kind of almost always portrayed as kind of short. Like, that actress is surely much, 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 much taller than I am, but she's just always significantly shorter than all the other characters.
The master must have heard every note and every word.
She's like, ooh, murder, senpai, please notice me.
Meg, sweet fool, you did all that you could.
And then her mom is like fear-mongering and being like, he'll never love you.
And yet still not enough.
You're nothing. Like, what?
You look so beautiful.
There's something about this little kid singing a reprise of the song that the kidnap dad taught him that just really sends a chill up my spine. So Raoul comes in and is like, I know we have a really toxic marriage, but I need you to not sing for the guy that kidnapped you and tried to kill both of us 10 years ago.
But we must leave here now.
It's a reasonable request, but also there's this part of me that's just like, Raoul's telling her to, so now I don't want to do it. He's like, let's just leave. Since you're crazy, I don't even want to call him X because he, again, abducted you, but that's what he is. He's running this place and he doesn't want to be here anymore with that information. Oh good, now she's locked in. I'm so glad all the men in her life respect her. I enjoy this weird blue-green, sickly lighting. I don't know, it just kind of works right here, right now. I'm trying to say some positive things, so I'm not that asshole on the internet that I never want to be. That's just like, thing bad. This is a very casual review. You know how we do.
And then unwind.
He gives her this absolutely hideous necklace. Okay, I won't say it's hideous. It's just far too goth for the look that she's got going on. You know, something that looks like a collar, if you will, or a restraint. Something to demean her, but, like, I think it's supposed to be seen as, like, a good thing. Like, Lindsay Ellis talks about this in her video, but they're, like, trying to make this a romantic thing. But, like, this mechanism is not really that at all, right? It's kind of signifying how he's trying to cage her in and control her. Oh, good. The small child is singing on the pier by himself? Where is this supposed to be? You guys can't just pipe smoke in where there's no real set and call that a day. So basically, Christine has to make a choice. If she sings, that means she's chosen the Phantom. If she doesn't, that means she's chosen Raoul. And here she is back in the same shitty place that she was 10 years ago. Depressing. Madame Giry's also here, even though none of this family drama has to do with her. But she's mad about money, so she's like inserting herself anyway. Oh, and now Meg is kidnapping the child. This child has been kidnapped twice in the span of less than 48 hours. Love that. She sure looks happy about the choice that she's making. This is so romantic, you guys. Okay, the necklace does look aesthetically better with the goth girl purple dress that she has. I still don't like it as a storytelling mechanism, but you know.
Who knows when love begins?
Poor woman is very talented. I hope she got to play Christine in the regular play and not just here, because that's kind of depressing. She's really giving her all to this just silly show. Raoul and the Phantom are kind of standing in the wings, but off to either side, like they're doing that like 90s movie thing of like, let's see who the dog runs to first. That's who they love more. And poor Christine. I know they just trash her character like everybody else in this show, but Christine, the real Christine, deserves better than this. She has sang the song. She has chosen the Phantom. They kiss. Really does feel like fan fiction. This doesn't feel like a ALW sanctioned play. Well, that guy's made a lot of weird plays. Maybe it does.
My dearest wife.
Oh, Raoul's in the mirror.
I beg you, forgive me.
Raoul, buddy.
Gustav.
What is it?
Gustav.
What's wrong?
Gustav, the child, the son, is missing, and now the Phantom and Christine are running around being like, Raoul kidnapped him.
I will kill that drunken fool that he dare take this child.
That's not his kid, even though he's thought it was for 10 years.
The boy, woman! What have you done with him?
The boy.
Madame Giry has not taken the kid.
I just passed Meg's dressing room.
I think I'm more emotionally invested in these three side characters than I am of any of these main characters. I want to know how they're doing. Are they okay? Alas, it was Meg who stole the kid. We already know that because we saw it, but they're finding it out for the first time.
I can't swim. Oh, don't worry. It's almost over.
This poor kid, she's gonna push him off the pier?
Then drift off to sleep.
This is so dark. This is not the turn that I wanted it to take.
Let go of the boy now!
Meg, honey.
Always wondered how to make you watch me now.
So apparently Meg has spent 10 years trying to get the Phantom to notice her, even though she didn't seem to care at all in the first play, but let's put that aside. Now she has kidnapped a child, and again, I am not the first person to cover the show. The Phantom now has to negotiate a hostage negotiation. Something that I've heard Lindsay Ellis talk about in her video, and something which I thought would not hit me so hard since I've already heard her talking about it when I watched it for myself, but alas, still strange, especially because they imply that Meg was forced into prostitution.
I gave what they would take. I gave it for your sake.
This is getting very dark. I don't like any of this. Oh good, the kids... Oh god, Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to put so many trigger warnings on the front of it. Why did you do this, Andrew Lloyd Webber? Why did you... Meg now wants to unalive herself.
Give me the gun, Meg.
The fact that the Phantom is the rational voice in this situation, this poor woman's life has crumbled.
Duty sometimes goes unseen. We can't all be like Christine.
Christine?
Bro, you were that close.
Always Christine!
She now freaks out. The gun goes off. Well, love might never die, but Christine definitely does. She dies.
Look with your heart and not with your eyes.
She's singing with a good deal of energy for there definitely not to be anything that can be done for her, but this is a pretty pre-modern medicine era. So this poor kid has to watch her die as she's like, hey, you know how you thought your dad was your dad? Well, here's something funny that I need to tell you about that weird man that kidnapped you. Jesus Christ.
Your real father is here.
And as she dies, with the Phantom beside her,
What am I to do?
singing about himself, she kisses him and takes the mask off again. She dies. He screams at the ceiling. The kid comes back. This poor kid. Why did he recoil? Like, ugh, a child. I know it's mine, but still. Gross. He just pulled his hand back like when you're doing dishes and like a piece of wet food touches your hand. That's a kid. That's a human kid, sir. That's the name of the show. The kid is no longer scared of him. Don't know why. He has no reason to not be scared of him. But he takes his mask off of him, and the play is over. Presumably, the Phantom will either raise this kid on his own, or what I like to think is that he and Raoul will have to share custody in a weird every other weekend and holidays sort of situation. Again, this poor kid. That's it. That's the end of the show. This one's going to be a shorter video than my Phantom video was. And I know some of you have been asking me to eventually cover the movie adaptation because people seem to have very different opinions about that one. But for right now, I'm going to leave you guys here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. This is Dragon Bean. I'm a YouTuber if you say so because this is technically a YouTube channel. Bye. I thought I'd have something more like definitive to say at the end of this. I don't. I just feel cold. I gotta go to bed.